Throughout human history, we have been trying to scare the ever-living crap out of each other. Now, a lot of times, this was for a good reason, usually to keep our kids from putting themselves into potentially dicey situations.
Oh boy, not good.
Other times, it might be to warn about a location being potentially dangerous. But a lot of the time, do you know why we really do it? Really? It's because we like scaring the ever living crap out of each other. You know, it's fun. It's what we do. I like scary stories. You like scary stories. Hell, do we know anybody out there who doesn't like a good scary story? Bro, Auntie Marcia doesn't like scary stories. So here's the deal there are a lot of these stories out there, and it becomes really tough for any of them to gain any meaningful traction. Some of the really great stories that are hidden gems, they just get lost in the sheer volume of content. And the authors, they get discouraged and sometimes they give up. And that's no good for any of us. As those of you, such as myself, who are in the science or engineering fields would say, the signal to noise ratio is just very, very low. And that's where the creepy countdown comes in. On this show, I'm going to shine a light on those horror stories and creepypasta from the past week that I believe deserve to be seen, cherished, and celebrated. And in every one of these shows, the links to the stories will be added in the video description. So let's give these authors some love and build up our community, shall we? Let's get started. So the honorable mention this week is The Real Reason Satan Rebelled by you/This Is Boring. And that username, it made me laugh because it's very ironic. There was nothing boring about this story at all. The author really knows how to sell themselves short. So, without giving the entire plot away, it basically tells an alternative account of why God created mankind and why Lucifer decided to rebel in order to stop it. And it's a really cool story. So, it's written in this simple but in your face style, and it really reads like someone is trying to quickly drop some truth on you. And it touches on a lot of ideas behind Gnosticism, which I thought was really cool, and it was pointed out by the top comment in there. It's a really fun story, and it's just designed to make you think, regardless of whatever your personal or religious beliefs are. And I appreciated it for that. It was bold. Our runner-up this week is The Missing Kid on My Street Trilogy, actually, by you/Zayn Malik. So this is a trilogy of short stories that came out this weekend, and it follows the exploits of a boy whose friend Ryan disappears on a trip in the woods. And they go through the whole grieving process as a community, only for Ryan to return months later with no explanation. But Ryan doesn't seem to be Ryan anymore, and something more sinister appears to be going on. Now, I loved this story, not only because of the body snatcher or revenant vibes, of which there are plenty, but because I felt like it was really about a kid who is being taunted by the personification of loss. So life goes on, people move on, but the world, it doesn't just stop because we lose someone. Yet that grief, it follows us. And I think it's a powerful metaphor that's hidden inside of a genuinely creepy series. And now for my number one choice for best creepypasta this week. This story is called My Grandfather Survived Something Unholy in an Unknown Russian Village During World War II by Previous Cost 8245. And this is a story that has all of the signs of being what might be a new classic. Okay, where to begin? So it takes place initially in 1992. Shortly after the grandfather dies, this group of grandkids start going through his stuff. And basically, they're looking to see if they can find something interesting that they can show their history teacher. Well, they come across this journal, and it tells the harrowing tale of what happened to him and his platoon when they entered into this unknown Russian village. So something to know about the grandfather, he fought for the Germans during World War II. So he was a Nazi. And his platoon, they were stationed out on the Eastern Front in, I believe it was 1942, when this journal was written. So the story then flashes to what's going on in the journal. And at that time, his platoon, they enter into what appears to be an abandoned village. Only it's not really abandoned, and they start getting picked off one by one. And that short review, it gives you the tiniest morsel of what this story really is all about. And I don't know how to describe it without giving so much detail that it gives way too much away. It's that awesome of a story. So this is a difficult story on many levels as well. So for instance, we end up empathizing with a group of Nazi soldiers during World War II. I mean, who would ever think that that would be something that's even possible? But as I continued reading the story, I started asking myself, are these guys even really the protagonists? Or is it the seemingly antagonistic town that's the protagonist and it's doling out some karmic justice? Something to think about. Also, what's difficult is the descriptions of sounds and events. They're so well written and timed that they literally had me jumping out of my seat and wincing. And that really very, very rarely happens for me reading a story. So that's another real big positive for this story. Another thing that's just cool about it is that it touches in on a lot of interesting ideas, one of them being mimic viruses. And they do it in a really cool way. I won't give it away how. You'll know it exactly where you see it. It also has a lot of references and throwbacks to books that I love. For example, there are a lot of spirals that recur during it, and it's very clearly inspired by Junji Ito's Uzumaki. If you haven't looked at this story before, you really need to read it. It's a great graphic novel, and just like the illustrations in it are very, very well done. Like, it's an amazing, amazing story. Another thing was the slithering thing, and that made me think of the crawler in Vandermeer's Annihilation. This book and all the sequels, they're really cool. I don't really want to go off on a tangent about other books more than I have, but you should definitely take a look at those if you haven't. So there is just so much to love in this story. I could go on for a long time. You just need to go read it. I can totally see this becoming a favorite of narrators in the very near future. So thank you guys for tuning in. And if you enjoy scary stories like I do, please go support the authors. Help me to shine a light on their efforts and talents. I feel like there are some amazing, amazing stories out there that could potentially be modern classics that are just waiting to be found. This community is so full of talent and untapped potential. I truly believe that if we work together and help it to grow, we are going to see some amazing, amazing things in the near future. Now, if you guys disagreed with any of my selections this week, let me know in the comments section what you think the top 3 stories were. Let's keep the conversation going. So thanks for watching and have a nice night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Uncle Magnetti, I want to be you. Uncle Magnetti, I'm watching you. Inside your mind I twist and turn. Feed on your fear, watch it burn.